Like, we're still here. 7 episodes. 7 MOA. I think it's 18 MOA, but lucky number 7. Yeah. For the first time, I didn't see a lot of nasty comments about their wedding, about anything, because hey, go Lesotho, if Habaso or they're not hating, you're not doing it. Go to know that you're doing it, you must have haters and every snack, Like, I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but AIDS never looked so good. And I always say, rather, I'm a diluted Musud. These are the effects of colonialism. You can't blame me. This is what you get 57 years later after leaving our country. The women's Kosafa Cup was going on in the past weeks, and we lost all three. But that cost 2 million. That was a 2 million police. And back in the time, in Hawaganako ya King Moshoeshoe the second, and back in that time, King Moshoeshoe the second, one asabatu hudula mono. It is what it is. They they have families to feed, and let's just hope this one doesn't go with a strike, because sometimes about the strike as well. And speaking of strike,
Emanyani, please stop scrolling.
I swear I'm a bad liar. Dali, I swear I'm a bad liar. So if I lie to you, it will backfire. I'm broke, but I'm tryna build an empire. So if you go now, get the understand. Cause Shelley taking on you.
Bafanas, the man is back. The egg is back. So I don't know how it works now, since Serenali, books on the table, so that it just looks like a desk. Dexignac. So Dexignac, yeah. you're the Dexiac, right? But otherwise, without any further ado, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, the boys and the girls, welcome, EWG. I'm a crazy fella. Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, the boys and the girls, what is up? What is happening? It is your boy, the man, the myth, the legend, EWG, your main ingredient to cake unless you were allergic. And welcome to yet another special episode of Views with, of course, me, EWG. For those who don't know what Views is your weekly recap of the happenings of our very, very small country of Lesotho. So if you want to know about what's going on in the country, trending news, latest news, entertainment, and real talk, well, this is your spot. So welcome from YouTube, welcome from Facebook as well, because we are on both platforms. Yes, sir. And yeah, I must say, it's one ride to do views. Every time it's a learning curve. Every time we do done to think all the time. So I'm just glad that we are still alive and kicking, and we are pushing. And we are pushing. We are just shoving it in the face of the enemies, because funny enough, a couple of episodes back, someone that we mentioned in the previous episode that we're never ever gonna talk about again, did say, oh, I don't feel like your content, and like, we're still here. 7 episodes, 7 MOA. I think it's 18 MOA, but lucky number 7. Yeah, 7 episodes in, and I must say, we are slowly but surely reaching the goal that we want to reach. And keep inviting your friends. Tell your friend to tell a friend to come over, and Haul Mosotho, or you don't even have to be Mosotho in particular. If you have interest in Lesotho and what's going on around you, you might as well tune in, because why not? Because this is the hottest the hottest talk show in the country, no doubt. But we don't have the the numbers to prove, but I know it is. Welcome everybody, and yeah, I think we should just get into these week's updates, because Bekeng William is a different story, a different mood, and a different genre. Lesotho is like hip hop this week. Next week piano. They just never balance, because you never know what's gonna happen. But something that you're always going to be quite sure that's gonna happen is another love story. No doubt. I don't know. Have you guys realized how much love stories have been popping, and how much, love is in the air right now? The current situation and the current mood of our country is just feeling lovely and bubbly. For those who don't know, what I'm talking about. Uh, I'm talking about the wedding of the year. Lechato la selemo. There is no wedding like this ever. Kore, lona ba December, ba dikuku tsa December, ba le manyalo a December. This one took the cup, no doubt, no doubt. I am talking about Kekeletso Matete and Dokotela Matete's wedding, which happened in the past week here. In a Lechato la Ditletle. There is no wedding like that. That is the most beautiful wedding ever. And then it anyway, because they trended for the whole weekend. But Trend Affair was just all about them. And I just love seeing things like that. For the first time, I didn't see a lot of nasty comments about their wedding, about anything, because hey, go Lesotho, if Habaso or they're not hating, you're not doing it. Go to know that you're doing it, you must have haters and everything. But luckily this time around, no one was coming up for the wedding, because for you to bash that wedding, you need to have like Buma 1 million and above just to make a comment, because that was the most expensive wedding. It looked very expensive, and it's how it's a Melisi Lodge, Already you're hosting something at a lodge. It sounds fancy on its own. So it looked expensive. To top it all off, guys, hi, lona le re kenyetsa pressure. Majita. To top it all off, Dokotela Matete got the lady, her new wife, Kekelezo Matete, a brand new Jaguar. Can you believe that? That was a baller's wedding. No doubt. That was back against a pressure for real. Like now, ladies are gonna expect more. Like the standard is just going higher and higher and higher. If Halia, you didn't take out your wives to Mauritius, lady 10,000, Halia Sabapadi 10,000, Lengwala Dipina, like. Like how do you expect us to cope, like in such conditions, but we love to see it. Love is in the air, love is buzzing. If you're not in love, yeah, make sure you find love, because the current mood and the current situation, I'm updating you now. If you're not in love, yeah, there's definitely something wrong with you, and something is wrong with me as well, because I'm also struggling to find love. But either way, it is what it is, because this love thing, it's crazy. Or when these days, this love thing is essentially a lot of pressure surrounding it. You can't be in your sure you cannot be in love without money. Lina, I can just not put myself in a position of a relationship. So if you have the money and you have everything, you might as well go for it. But if you don't have the money, it's very tough. It's very tough. And I don't know, man. I just love this love thing going on. This week we always have a new couple every week. Last week I was really concerned with since we are not gonna be talking about the country's couple anymore. But I'll show you a picture though. But I'm not gonna mention the name. I was like, now the juice is gone. But it keeps happening. And speaking of the juice, did you see our couple? Our couple's story, the country's couple. I'm not gonna say anything because I might get in trouble for that. But something I may not get in trouble for is complimenting. And this time around, I just want to give a shout out, a huge compliment to the beautiful and lovely lady Tsepang Maboe. Oh my goodness, this lady. I just find myself scrolling every time the photos are high because she is looking amazing. Snack, like I'm probably gonna get in trouble for this, but AIDS never looked so good. but my point, the reason I'm saying this is because my point was on complimenting Tsepang Maboe is because she's very open about her situation. If you don't know, Tsepang Maboe is HIV positive, and she is one of those people who empower people who go through the same situation that she goes through. She's very open about it, and the reason I'm talking about it is because this week she took again on the stage, on the Facebook stage, and said AIDS and posted a couple of yo. It just had me thinking about how we think about things, like, because little today, let's in Lena, AIDS is still a stereotype. If you have AIDS, there's still that level of discrimination that still goes on with AIDS, and I think since we are in a woke era and in a woke generation, we might as well be educated about that and be open about things like that, so that the next person who might have the same situation, abe, just go through it much easier, because you came forward. Like, the people with cancer is curable. They're always coming out, I had cancer. But when someone is like, I have AIDS, we are gonna come for her. And I don't think that's that. Last week we were talking about pregnancy stereotypes, about how we deem pregnancy in society, especially teenage pregnancy and before marriage pregnancy, the random pregnancy, and how we deem that, has to change, because these are things that we live with every day. And I think Tsepang is a statement of that. Every other day we live with these things, and they don't have to trauma us. And yo Tsepang, dog, hit me up. hit me up because that she just looks amazing. And I think also the thing in Umezangabe much more amazing is how she's just navigating through her life. Before Ansat, when she came up, when we knew of Tsepang Maboe, obviously was because of her coming out of her AIDS situation. But she used to always have a lot of feuds going on with other influential people on the Lesotho Facebook stream, And now she's like very quiet, she's chill about it. And who knows, we might as well have her one time on the show, be- I just snitched on myself. So guys, now that I mentioned it, in the coming weeks we are to see some changes on our platform. We are going to be enrolling in interviews, so those talks and those one-on-ones with the people you want to hear, will be airing soon. So here in the comments below, just tell us who you would want to see our first ever episode with, of interviews. And yeah, also something for views, something spicy is coming up, but I'll just leave you for that so that you come back the next episode. But in the next coming weeks, we are going to be seeing more content coming up. And yeah, so just keep on liking, commenting, and doing your thing like the government is doing its thing. Yeah, I'm not gonna, yeah, the government is doing its thing, and we should because we, as much as it's the governing party has issues in the party, but I think the government is cruising smoothly. And ke ile ka qawa haholo this week when, an opposing leader of the Basotho National Party, which is BNP, Tsepang Maboe, brought upon a notion of no, a notion of no competence or whatever it is, but it's aligned to that. The motion was that, we need to overpower this government because apparently the government, according to Tsepang Maboe, the government is not doing much of a work that it should be doing. Is it though? Is it? Nah, actually, the government is not doing what it's supposed to, or you just, creating problems where there aren't any problems, Because if we look at it, our government is doing quite well, The street lights, for example, if we had, okay, let me not. But I think our government is performing quite well, and the motion is quite irrelevant, and I doubt it'll materialize motion on our highway to overpower the government, because the government is cruising nicely. So we'll see how that one goes, and we'll keep staying on tuned, on how how he's going about it. And also, like, to show that, the government is cruising nicely, and Basotho are just in it into helping the government function well, and that we have a stable government, Hobane, in the next 5 years, I don't think the state of our country will still be the same. Like, will be much further. In the next 10 years, we'll get there. I think in the next 10 years, correct me if I'm wrong, ma, lemo tse leshome tse tlang from now, I think Lesotho will be, if we continue in the state, if we have the leaders that we have now, I think Lesotho will be somewhere. Ke keta ho hopola mantswe of our old Prime Minister Ntate Pakadi Thabo Sisidi. He used to say the words, ngwana ya tla ntsha naha ena bokgobeng ha so tswale. So that's the only thing that concerns me about Jay. Like, okay, so this guy, that Pakadisa decided to drop this bombshell in Kesas already. So I don't know, is the Moses of Lesotho born yet? I don't know. But speaking of the Moses, Moses, because it's from church, Bishop Ramela wa kereke engwe Thabana Morena did something very, very, very out of his way. Like, he shouldn't have done that, but it's good, and I think it's a PR stunt as well. But I think let's just not go there. We are currently undergoing a process of reincarnation, of just always being positive, and always, because that's what life should be about. So let's not push any agendas, whether or not, and just talk it straight and be fair about it. Hobane Bishop Ramela donated a brand new Ford Ranger to the police department ya Thabana Morena, and shout out for that. That is the coolest thing ever. Like, one of those, I always dream of doing something like that, Lena, when I'm well off, and just giving back to the community. And it's nice to see that, the church in particular, because our country of Lesotho is a very religious country, and I'm glad to see that, the church is finally, giving back to the community, because hangata, the churches that we have in the country, by equal, it's their money and for the church only. Like look at how the it's sad to say it, but the Roman Catholics are doing it. Lex is also doing it. The money from the churches, tšhelete ya Roma e fella Roma, and it only does Roma Jews. Like, if you're not Roman, you'll never enjoy the benefits of the offerings if ole motho a likes, and other churches as well that maybe I have not mentioned, but some churches in particular, like Muslim churches, you see them Muslim churches, but Muslim churches, you see them giving back. A few born again Christian churches are doing that, because this one of born again Christian churches is also another issue. But I'm just glad to see that some churches actually care and giving something out like a car, who sebeletsa motse wa. And regarding the fact that Tabana Morena has a high rate of crime, like I wanna see. Yeah, Tabana Morena, Tabana Morena always has something going on. Mafting always has something going on, and Ketabalua Mafting, because Mafting just always has something going on. But it's nice to see the church giving back to the community. It's nice to see the government also accepting that in a way. Hobane man, re previous government trauma, like our ex-government, the exits are one of the government. Like they just give us trauma, and if someone would do that back then, they would probably not even be put in the limelight or by but you see the government not taking credit of things like that, but giving credit where it's due. Linda Delebona Lepema happened to be there. Delebona Lepema is also the Minister of Police. He was there in receiving the car, and that's good, and I just shout out. One thing about my 2000, I'm a 2000, by the way. I always say I'm a diluted 2000. I'm a proud Mosotho child. I love being Mosotho. I say Mosotho back, and I always say rather I'm a diluted Mosotho. These are the effects of colonialism. You can't blame me. This is what you get. 57 years later after leaving our country. You have kids like me who speak English and Sesotho, and and I think we're more westernized in a way. Yeah, we are more westernized than Relebasot, but it is what it is. I don't blame myself. I blame I blame colonialism. And one thing about us, Relema 2000, like I was mentioning, I am one the 2000 is our language choice. How did you get all a shout out on that day who Bishop Ramel? If he sees this, it's from heart. It's not well, shout out is not even a bad word, but I'm just saying, a couple of weeks back I had a conversation with an adult, and he was so mad about how I talk about, not my parents, not the board of directors. He was just mad about how I talk. He's like, yeah, views ena how ehlile ke ntho hantle ra bona empa fela tshebediso ya puo o tlameha o bue Sesotho se paqameng. I'm like, nigga. Nigga, English is a universal language. If we want to endorse our country, if I want to stand for what I stand for in endorsing my country and in endorsing the news that's going on in my country, we might as well use English because it's a universal language. So meaning batho ba far can know about what's going on in Lesotho. Come on. People who want to know about Lesotho just know about Lesotho ka Lesotho TV ka 9:30. You see? So yeah, we 2000s, we just have that lingo, and I think that's the beauty of language. I acknowledge all Mosotho, ke a tseba ke Mosotho, ke tseba bua Sotho, ke tseba Songola, ya sa pasa, but just language changes because of show business, and we're just spicing things up. We're just spicing things up. So shout out to Bishop Kale. I hope he sees this, or any adult who sees this. Like, we're always gonna be giving you shout outs, like shout out, big ups, and it might help parents watch the show so that you level your lingo with the kids at home. So next time when you go home, you'll be like, what's up, kiddo? Shout out. But anyway, somebody we also need to give a shout out to, a young person like me. He's younger than me even, but he's doing big moves. Is Save Hope, and Save Hope is a musician. He's an artist. It's a hip hop, and ndatale anankomanyetsa gore ke bua Sekgowa. I want to know, the abilities and the things that English bring you also. Thing. And shout out to Save Hope. He was spotted and seen out in Joburg there, shooting music videos with Adidas Cloud Cassette. This is according to Tsepang Maboe, and Tsepang Maboe is also a brilliant artist in the country. One of the uprising, And I just think we have a growing population of young people. We have much more. Do we though? Yeah, I believe we have younger people than we have older people. And younger, I mean, dude, yo, and it's wild because they are doing crazy things. Like Tsepang Maboe is a photographer. He hosts events, like the Black Experience for one. If you've never been to the Black Experience, I think it's coming up this year. You should, if you're young, even if you're old, but if you just like vibing with, these are the things that are going on in our country. Be sure to go check out the Black Experience. Tsepang Maboe was saying he's a photographer, he's an artist, and he takes pretty good pictures, and that is great, that is dope. And shout out to Save Hope as well for the money moves that he's doing out there in over rivers. Yeah, over rivers, not overseas. But we want him to see, we want to live the day to see where he goes overseas. And it's just inspiring for Rona who are coming up behind him. Like he said in the blueprint, one thing you should do is always set the blueprint. So we're gonna copy his blueprint on how he did it, and shout out to that. So shout out Save Hope. Keep doing what you do, keep raising the flag high. I think also one thing, and I think it's much more lucrative if you stand for where you come from. Look at your Burna Boys, they stand for Nigeria. Look at your South African artists, your Black Coffees. Everybody knows Black Coffees from South Africa, for goodness sake. And I just think if we hold it down when we make it and just keep endorsing this country, we great success. Great success. And unfortunately for great success, our women's national team is not achieving great success. The women's COSAFA Cup was going on in the past weeks, and we lost all three. You know that video where that guy laughs? He's like, Manchester United. Yeah. So is it Mehaladitwe? Yeah, Mehaladitwe. Then I laugh, but it's not a laughing matter, but it's a matter of concern. Our very own women's national team have lost in the COSAFA, and the COSAFA is like, it's like COSAFA, AFCON, after AFCON, then World Cup. So if we keep struggling at the base level, I don't think we'll ever live to see the day Lesotho makes it to the World Cup, And that would be, I don't care which World Cup, even if it's Hokala World Cup, like at least let's just do something. Well, at least in the Olympic, but we don't do so well. So meaning the way our sports Lesotho Manana is structured and how it is, revamp because how can we lose 3 matches, 3 whole football matches, the group staging, 3 of them, like basically and that's sad, and the coach also did mention he's very mad about it, but it is what it is. But I don't think we who lose all the time. I think they're gonna performed really well in the previous COSAFA Cup. Dikwena is the men's national team, and for me, I have much more faith in women's sports than men's sports in our country, because women's sports currently are not how be competitive as men's sports, because men's sports is it's competition. You need much more many things, but in women's sports there's less women in sports in our country, so that for one can boost us. And there's less women sports competition in Africa, so like women's sports in the like, well, it's on the verge of coming up. It's not there yet. It's not where the feminists would want it to be. Like they would want it to be the same level. If 50-50 is a thing, if 50-50 is a thing, which the feminists preach all the time. I have nothing against feminism, but I just think the concept is then if 50-50 is a thing, then we'll live to see. Then there must be a day where it's men versus women in probably a football match, So it sucks, but I think how our sports system is structured in the country, it will change. Like for a population of 2 million people, it's quite possible overnight. For our change, our country is possible overnight. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. And great, I fumbled up my notes, and this was very, very huge. And now, because views is we don't do cutscenes here, it's just a natural one shot throughout. Is now I messed up my notes. My notes are very messed up, but I just also wanna continue to give a shout out to Matiliso. I want to believe it's Matiliso. Yes, I think it's Matiliso for making the role on Nikiwe. I'm just glad to see the wave of Basotho actors in the industry, in the film industry in our neighboring country, because it's really a stable film industry. But if you make it in SA, in our neighboring country, yeah, I think, because the South African film industry is quite good. It's not there, it's high, but it's good. It's better, and the opportunities are much greater. And I love seeing the wave of Basotho actors taking the mainstream, and actual Basotho characters, because go to Motozale Sotho in a sitcom or something, then you're like, God, where in the world, le nna nka se kere mara wa itse ke tswa Lesotho. I would never dream how motho tla le di brand mo 2 minutes o so mara wa itse. But hey, we're not there. But I was just acknowledging, if I got the name wrong, it's probably on the screen right now. But congratulations, Emma. We can't wait to see you. Her character on Nikiwe on ETV will be airing around the 24, the 26. So be sure to tune in and comment hashtag something. Oh, it will be on the screen, man. Great. This is a moment ruined. This is a moment ruined. But we'll move on. Move on in well, let me take you back in time. Do you know the Lesotho Palace, the one in Zille under construction, which has been under construction since I was in primary school, since 2013, and it's 2020. That means it's 10 years. And obviously, the tender issues that are going on that are hindering the completion of the palace. But before this palace, there was that one in Hawika brick what that cost 2 million. That was a 2 million palace. And back in the time, in Hawagana King Moshoeshoe II, and back in that time, King Moshoeshoe II Hote one asabatu hudula moon, because he was like, how can it was actually after independence. Actually, the British, the colonialists, they decided to, they're like, we're done with your country now, so we might as well just leave you a 2 million police. And I feel it feels disrespecting, and Kim Mosheshe the second, apparently for the longest time on Asaduli Mono, because he was like, nah, what kind of king would live in such a luxurious house? Batho ba hai ba phela ka hara mekgoro. Buzz. Like, where can I vote for Kim Mosheshe the second again? Like, such humility in a person is not seen these days. Haibonahale at all. You cannot go. It's a virtue that's gone these days. No, you building me a $2 million house. Okay, my guy. I go in. And the reason I'm talking about this is, we've made it to the segment, serious something of the week. Because, the reason I'm talking about this is, you as the viewer and myself, reach here, but like the things, how far is too far? Like, how far would you go to be happy, and how far would you sacrifice for the sake of other people? You understand? Just like Kim Mosheshe, like, how luxurious were you gonna live in a 2 million rand house, 2 million maluti, 2 million maluti house? Like, he was gonna live the best life, but he decided, you know what? No, I'm not gonna live here until the situation, about to a bit there. And obviously he did move in, but situation of Lesotho then was much better, because Lesotho back in the 80s, 70s, from the 70s to the 90s, Lesotho had potential, We're just fresh out of colonialism, we had ideas, and the Lesotho that we know today is the exact same Lesotho that was there in the 80s. Like, nothing has changed. A few things have changed. Like, only a few things have changed. I'll put a couple of pictures up just so that you see how much of a change there's been. Little of a change there's been. But when Kim Mosheshe II decided, I'm not gonna live in this house, and I think we should just make the living situation Basotho be better. You see the coming up of Ntate Labua Jonathan, who, if it wasn't for him, I don't think Lesotho ka be re na le ditsela he, because Lesotho had an airway. Like, Lesotho was booming. Lesotho was the place to be, and unfortunately, our ex governments just decided to ruin that for us, But just think about it. How far would you go in order to save other people? That's patriotism right there. That's patriotism on another level, and I think that's fire, and I think we should strive to copy virtues like that, and shout out to Kim Mosheshe II. His story is would need a whole episode, but since we're gonna be doing interviews soon, we might as well hook up an interview with a historian, and we just uncover the whole history of our country, and it will be right there. And if you're watching, and you're still watching right now, but I'm sure you are, this is the most entertaining thing in the country. Currently, an announcement has just been made. This is like fresh news for me, which is also concerning regarding the living, the high cost of living that is going on currently. Like, everything is super expensive, and unfortunately by 1 November, the taxi di tla be di nyolohile. Public transport fees are going high. So I also be clear na the taxi di tlo nyoloha ka bokae, but I also don't blame them for nyoloha di price the taxi. But and Lesotho is one of those places where a taxi fare is one of the cheapest thing. Like 12 randa, when you think about it, 12 randa ho tloha Maseru toropong o ya Hanneles kapo o ya Hafuso kapo o ya kae, like local distance re coverang for that amount is quite cheap. Lesotho, we're still privileged with some things, and but it's about harder for most people who use public transport. But ha public transport in your mesebetsi, the private institution and everything. You feel? So the only issue that surrounds Honyolo Hadi taxi is how the cost of living also gets like now budget transport is like more cut into other budgets as well. So we'll see how that one goes. But it is what it is. They have families to feed, and let's just hope this one doesn't go with a strike, because sometimes about the strike as well. And speaking of strike, the National University of Lesotho as well, the students partook in a strike, and strikes they are saying, that's all I can say. Strikes are not good, that's all I can say, but I understand as well. We're not gonna get into it at all for particular reasons, but it is what it is. And just like that, we find ourselves at the end of our episode, and I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and hope you enjoy many more other coming episodes. My advice is check out the previous episodes as well, just so that you in check with what's been happening in the past, just so that you can always relate to, because some jokes I realize it's like inside jokes and they're not even funny anyway. But it is what it is. So I think thank you for the love, thank you for watching and everything. And we only do it just to raise the flag higher. This is solely just to raise the flag high, and also to make money as well and be famous and all the other things. But I think in particular, I do this to endorse our country, because and get young people involved in the affairs of our country, because whether we like it or not, they are armor at the end of the day. So we might as well know about them, and we might not preach politics or but at least the fact that you have an understanding of what's going on around you. Because Lesotho Manana, we have just one, it's either Omamela Ditaba Radio kapo Lesotho TV. So if there are a couple of sources, and this is solely for entertainment purposes, by the way, if there are other sources that get young people involved, we might as well. So it is what it is. I'll see you next week. I was trying to think of something to rhyme, but I'm not gonna leave you just like that. I'm gonna leave you with someone who rhymes, Yamba Shengu Lipila Hatatsane, and he's dropping us with who took the cover for something of the week, DSM Matekane. Ladies and gentlemen, I am EGG, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Let me read this, Dear Honorable Sam Matekane, I hope this finds you well like it finds me. My name is Yamba, house I beat feel it telefani. When you tell a number 10 couple hippie la Tanzania. Kala ka go hinda demo ruo. Batabua habatrete ka dipuo. You won the last one, but now you got a new war. Cause I think you still have some people that you need to prove wrong. So first, go regrete ka di pothole. Le di street light, then re ya ho di short goal. O ha hwe di feme, ho ke tswe spane. O buletse kwetsweng ka maputso le tetsane. I trust you, though my friend said you gon' fail. I said nah, give him time, boy, we gon' tell. Yeah, and it's hard to understand, but I know you got a plan. Cause if you can't change this country, then I guess nobody can. With that said, I need a couple changes. For this to work, we need more than patience. Some people from the old government work in the same offices, and that's dangerous. Cause how about the civilians, a bit super way? How about me civilians, a super way? And how they expect this one man to change in 1 year what it took them 50 years to destroy? It's unfair. Yeah, and we still not independent. At least Just not till there's an answer. But until then, my child, I'm dropping in December. My mixtape on the way. Sincerely yours, Yemba. Yeah, sincerely yours, Yemba.